He told me he didn't love me anymore. After 14 years together, my husband packed his bags for Arizona, chasing some fantasy life I thought my world was ending, but I had no idea karma was about to chase him. If you've ever been blindsided by betrayal, you'll feel this one deep in your bones. Hit like, subscribe, and buckle up, because this is a Reddit revenge story that proves sometimes. If you'd like to share your story with our channel, please send it via the email link in the description. Walking away is the sweetest revenge. I thought my marriage was unshakable. 14 years together. Nearly 10 married, he was my partner, my best friend, my safe place. The kind of love that felt steady, predictable, permanent until March. That was the month he sat me down, eyes fixed somewhere past me, and said, "I'm not happy, haven't been for a long time." Just like that, my reality cracked. He told me he wanted a divorce, that he'd already made plans to move across the country to Arizona, a state we'd never lived in, never visited together. But apparently, it had been his dream all along. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt like it was collapsing inward. 14 years, gone in one sentence, within weeks. Our house was up for sale, contracts signed, he had a lease waiting in Arizona, and I had a small apartment lined up here in Ohio, the dogs. Our only kids were split like assets. One with him, one with me. I was devastated. I begged to try counseling. Begged him to fight for us, but he just shook his head, cold but calm. "I don't see a way back, it's too late," and that was it. The worst part? He wasn't cruel, he wasn't cheating, he wasn't yelling or raging or throwing blame like daggers. He was just done. And somehow, that made it worse, because he told me he resented me. That for years, he felt unappreciated, that I had taken him for granted and I had no defense. Looking back, maybe I did get complacent. Maybe I stopped saying thank you for the little things. Maybe my depression, my weight gain, my own struggles had blinded me to what he needed. But here's the thing. He never once told me. Not once. He bottled it up until it rotted, and then dumped it all in my lap like it was my punishment to carry. And all the while, he painted this picture of Arizona as some magical fixed sunshine, lakes, golf courses, snowboarding in the mountains. A new life where, apparently, I didn't exist, but I knew him. He was a grass-is-greener man, always chasing the next thing first. It was moving cities, then from apartment to house, then selling the house, then dreaming of another state, never satisfied, always restless, always searching for some external solution to his internal emptiness. And now, I realized Arizona wasn't about happiness. It was about escape from responsibility, from compromise. From me, at first. I collapsed into grief nights, crying myself to sleep. Days staring blankly at moving boxes I couldn't eat, couldn't focus. My counselor told me I was cycling through grief stages. Denial, bargaining, anger. But there was one night, one pivotal night, where something inside me snapped. Caught myself scrolling through his new apartment plans in Arizona, the glossy pictures he showed me with pride. And it hit me. He isn't mourning me, he's celebrating. And suddenly, I wasn't just heartbroken, I was furious. He had turned me into a ghost in my own life, quietly erasing me while skipping toward his fantasy future. That was the moment I decided. If he wanted Arizona so badly, he could have it. But I wasn't going to let him leave thinking I was the broken one. No. I was going to rebuild stronger, and I was going to let karma handle the rest. The first step was reclaiming myself. Threw myself into therapy, not to save him, but to save me. I worked out, ate better, shed over 40 pounds. Not for his validation, but because I wanted my body to feel like mine again. And when he noticed, when he said, almost wistfully, "You look great, I'm proud of you," I just smiled because I knew it stung. He wanted me to still be broken, clinging, desperate. Instead, I was rising. I leaned into friendships, rebuilt routines, even adopted small rituals that were mine alone, cooking meals he hated, blasting music. He rolled his eyes at rediscovering hobbies I abandoned to fit into his restless world. But the best part, the true revenge, was knowing his cycle. Because deep down, I knew Arizona wasn't going to fix him no matter how much sun he soaked up, no matter how many golf courses he conquered. He'd wake up one day restless again, dissatisfied, lonely, And when that day came, he'd remember me, not as the broken wife he left behind, but as the woman who got stronger without him. July arrived, house sold, keys exchanged. He packed his truck, loaded with half our furniture, one dog, and this inflated sense of freedom. We stood outside, awkwardly, 14 years ending in silence. He hugged me, told me he wished me well, told me maybe someday we'd be friends again. I just nodded, calm, almost cold inside. My heart hammered, but not from grief. From resolve, because this wasn't the end of my story. It was the end of his chapter in it. And as he drove off, disappearing down the street, I whispered under my breath, "Run as far as you want. The grass will never be green enough for you." Here's where karma enters. The updates trickled in through mutual friends. At first, he was ecstatic, posting Arizona sunsets, golf selfies, snowboarding trips, but then the cracks appeared. The job he thought he'd land didn't pan out. Rent skyrocketed. The boat he brought broke down and cost thousands to repair. The friends he thought he'd make never materialized. Because, surprise, happiness doesn't come from geography, and slowly, his posts dried up, his calls became shorter, until one day, he admitted, "I thought moving would make me happy, but I'm not sure anymore. That's karma, not fireworks, not public humiliation, just the slow, painful realization that he ran from himself and lost me in the process." My revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't about destroying him. It was about letting him destroy himself while I quietly rebuilt, watching him realize the grass would never be green enough. While I finally learned to water my own, revenge doesn't always mean payback. Sometimes, the sweetest revenge is rising when they expect you to crumble, and letting karma do the rest. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, do you think he regrets leaving? And what's the most satisfying karma you've ever witnessed? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.